Share with us, Grover. Grover, please.
Okay, a little bit about the book. Uh, it started way back when, almost like in Noah and well, it's beginning the time, bottom line. But I never had any intention of writing a book. And the way this book came about, many coworkers in my later career at IBM said, well, gee whiz, you have so many stories. Why don't you write a book? I had zero interest in writing a book, zero. Although I remember every story, I shouldn't say every, but primarily many stories and the details of these stories from probably age 6 or 7 and even to today. And I laugh at myself oftentimes in the shower. I think of stories that happen and I scream at myself because I say, I don't believe I did that. I don't believe this happened. But the book itself is about the family. My mom was the anchor to the family. I'm one of 14 kids. I was number 8 in birth order. I was the first one to go to college with zero money. The way I got to college was a friend of my mom worked for him. He was a medical doctor, a Caucasian, and he used to ask me questions about, hey, where are you going? I was a sophomore in college at the time. I mean, not college, but high school. Where are you going to college? I had zero knowledge of college. I had not known anyone who had gone to college. So therefore, what would I know about college? But anyway, he didn't embarrass me. He just used that to sort of motivate me and to challenge me. Each Saturday we worked in the yard, he would just ask me questions to make me think. So out of that, uh, back to high school now, kids in high school were saying, oh, where are you going to school? And of course, I had no idea. But getting back to high school, when I went to New Jersey, I had gotten promoted to the 10th grade. And of course, Jersey has such a superior education system. I was demoted back to 9th grade because Georgia had such an inferior high school or college, education system. Now that's a joke because I'm gonna tell you why. Sibling number 6, who is also chose as a co-author because a lot of her research is in the book. She had graduated from high school in Georgia, went to New Jersey, uh, got married, had a family, and went back to college and finished college in magna cum laude. And of course, I did not finish college magna cum laude. I barely got in school. Let me tell you why. In high school, because I got put into industrial art, which is just basically general education. No one asked me about, hey, are you interested in X, Y, Z? Because I wouldn't have known anyway, and my mother wouldn't have known either. But the bottom line, I was not given a choice. But some of the skills I learned in high school paid off later on in my career. I learned how to type, and I was probably one of the few boys in high school that took typing on a manual typewriter. Later on, I was at IBM and I got one of the largest school districts in the country as my client. And so I got to go to a lot of high schools and sold a lot of equipment to the high schools that it was very useful. So in other words, I went there and tried to educate boys or encourage them to take keyboarding at the time. Everything was taught on the computer at that time. But I could show them how keyboarding was important, how everything made was used a keyboard, such as, going to the moon, building automobiles, whatever you see, someone had the keyboard to put the information on print. So as a result, my learning typing, I could use that to encourage others to do so. But out of high school, I went to Johnson C. Smith. I was admitted on probation. You hear the word probation, which means I may have had decent grades, but they were industrial art classes, not college prep. I didn't even know what college prep was. And so I struggled. Well, my first year I did very well because I took, basic stuff in college. And when I got into the sciences such as biology and the defense, I had zero knowledge. And so I had to really struggle. But I made it through. And then I took up track. I ran track in high school. It was pretty good. And that's how I got to see some of the HCBU schools in America. And at South Carolina State Relay, I got to meet Bob Hayes. I ran against him. Of course, not against him directly because I would have been a fool to try that. But I was on a sprint medley relay and he ran a leg. So my whole deal was don't get lapped. Otherwise, I've been lapped all the way back to Charlotte, North Carolina, if I had gotten lapped by any runner, but I did not. So I made it through that race, and I was able to hold my head up and say, at least I didn't get lapped. And from that, I went to Kenya, East Africa, as the Peace Corps volunteer. And by the way, I believe that every American, not black, white, but every American youth should be required to join some type of volunteer service out of a high school or college, primarily out of college, to give back to the country. And they would learn a lot more about themselves and about other people. And then that would be better citizens of the world when we go out there to work with folks. Because I learned a lot about people just going to Kenya. It wasn't just Kenyans I met there. I met people from, my roommate was from Germany. I met a lot of folks from England, even Russia and other places who had volunteered from their country to be in East Africa. But I learned a lot just from seeing people, understanding folks, understanding that they had their own country to deal with, and they too were, well, I guess people just reaching out, trying to be better citizens of the world. And out of Kenya, I came back to Atlanta and went to graduate school at Atlanta University, which is now Clark Atlanta University. And from there, I went to Wall Street, stayed a year, left there, got married in Houston, Texas, working in Treasury at Gulf Oil, and then couldn't stand Texas, could not stand Texas. I'm sorry, I could not stand Texas. My wife is in Texas, but anyway, I went to Miami for 10 years. And in Miami, I changed jobs almost as the daylight did. I had 7 jobs in 7 years, but finally went back to the one that offered me my first job, which was IBM. And then the rest is history. I made my objective my 4th year in April. Then all of a sudden IBM said, hey, you look like management material, so you need to go to staff. So I went to IBM staff, and I taught new sales trainees, and basically just enjoyed life. But my experience in Kenya was probably by far the best, because I learned a lot about folks and learned a lot about myself primarily, and met some great friends. And some of these slides you're seeing was taken back when I was in Kenya, back in 67 through 69. And I went back in January the 10th, 2020, and met James McCall, and he was our guide, and took us back to the area where we had worked, and got to see some of the areas, farms I worked on. Of course, people were not there. The farmland was there. And overall, but we were just a close family, and my family participated in this project, and we talked. I have a 92-year-old sister. I talked to her last night. I have a 65-year-old sister. I think she's 65. She doesn't celebrate birthdays, but anyway, I called them together and wished them happy birthday. Born 24 years apart, 2 days apart, 20th and the 22nd.
Hmm. Hmm. 28 years. Wow.
24 years apart birth, 2 days apart in days in February.
Okay. Wow.
But we saw some struggles growing up, trying to live on a farm with not owning any land, and working, plowing somebody else's fields. And in fact, I had a story in the book that I like to laugh at myself, and my stories are never funny, but I laugh. My father worked very hard. He and his partner was step and step. The only problem is my dad took 2 steps and his partner took 4. So who worked the hardest, my dad or his partner? And his partner was a mule.
Okay, so let's try the video. Let's see if we can get to the video. Can everybody see the video?
No, it's not working on the screen.
On my screen. Give it a minute. It'll appear.
You're gonna have to unmute it, Claire, up at the top left.
Okay. Can't see the video. Okay, hold on. I'll try and do something else. I'm gonna try and do something else. Okay. Can't see it. Can you see the video?
No,
Okay.
No,
Alright.
flat screen.
I'm trying two different computers with this videos. Okay, I'm sorry, Grove. We're gonna have to see. Hold on. Let me try one more thing.
Yeah.
I don't show.
Of course.
It's showing here, but it's not showing there. Okay, let me try and stop sharing. Hold on. Okay. Okay, stop sharing. All right, let's try again. Can you see the video now, everybody?
we can see it, but it's not running.
Okay, let's try running it.
Oh, there we go. Well, try that. I think it must be JPEG or some type of link. They'll show the picture of JPEG. but
It's
not
showing on
video.
my screen, but it's not showing on the video. All right. Give it a minute. If it doesn't start, we'll just reset.
Claire, I think you're gonna have to share video separately. There are two boxes when you share audio and video, and you're gonna have to check those boxes.
Okay, let me try. Share. It's okay. I think you're right, Lester, and you're
Down
the
at the down at the bottom, you'll see it.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Zoom. Let's stop recording.